So this is sort of a Jerry Lee Lewisization of a sort of an old boogie woogie riff. You know, I think it's almost as old as like boogie woogie itself. You hear it in like the original sort of Pinetop boogie with the sort of. I think you hear it in the Boogie Woogie Stomp a little bit. It's a very, very old riff, and it's pretty much the quintessential sound of boogie woogie. And it's open, as in available for a lot of messing around with. Jerry Lee Lewis played what to me is probably one of the most simple versions of it, and you can play it in pretty much any key, but it's very easy to do in C. So that's really the base way you want to understand that. So it's going to start on a C, or a G, sorry. And you're going to have an E flat and an E, and then you're going to go up. You can select different fingers depending on your hand shape, hand size, but you're going to have a D and a B flat. Go back down to the C. Then you're going to have a C and an A. Back down to the C. A B flat and a G. And then you're going to, with whatever fingers you like, do this. So it G, E flat, E. And that's sort of the real base of that riff. But it's such a beautiful riff because it's just got all these spaces in between every note that you can add whatever on earth you'd like. So perhaps you might do. That's the same as what we just played. But instead of going back down to the C, you're going to play a B and an a G sharp. And then you're going to head back down to your G and your B flat. But that's going to be like this beautiful little sliding note. Again, with all these riffs, they're great to just keep playing that riff in whatever chord you want. So when you go up to your F, you might have, that's an A flat, A, your a E flat and a G, back to F, D and an F, C and an E flat. So that's one that I believe you hear. It was in one of his live performances. He was playing alongside Mickey Gilley, and I think it might have been actually the Lewis boogie that he was playing. But he's got this. That's such a genius riff. I really just love that, but it took me so long to figure out actually what he was playing, just because when he plays it at such speed, it can be hard to hear what's actually going on. But all he's doing there is playing the same thing we just played, but he's trilling in between the B flat and the D. Just once. So you can combine those two we just learned and make it into sort of a. That's the great thing about that riff. It really can be put in any time signature, and you can kind of bump it up one beat at a time. Take it off, then make it. Or, it's really got any number of time signatures you could put it in, and it still can resemble that original riff. So I find when you play it in C, when you get to the G chord, it can be a little frustrating because, like, personally, I find it hard to use the same fingers, so I have to use I use these two to play that F and an A, down to your G, your E and your G, and then your D and your F. And it can be even a little harder to play that trill when you're in the G. So if you have longer hands, it would be it would be nice to just be. So I would recommend with a riff like that, it's often a sort of solid riff. Now you hear Fats Domino, and again, like I said, Albert Ammons and people like that. It can be used in a very swingy sort of. And even a faster sort of. But I really, really love it when you have that sort of. Like a real rock and roll bass line going. So just feel free to play around with that in whatever key, certainly, but you know, it takes a lot of gusto to start putting it in things like D. But feel free to play around with that, and it's a beautiful riff, really. It fits in any song.